Friends, how are you doing? What a struggle we are in right now with Big Bear. Woo, it is trying so hard to get to this $4 position. It was so easy last week. Now we're struggling a little bit here, but before we get into Big Bear, first of all, thank you everyone for clicking on the video, listening to me yap my gums here. We've seen just I swear this is I said that last year, but I'm saying again this year. This is just the weirdest year in the market. It's just unexpected things keep happening. But today was just a kind of calm day, sell day. I mean, a lot of things sold off today, but it wasn't dramatic sell. Big Bear was one of the only few stocks out there actually that held its pretty good ground today, held some volume. The biggest news that kind of has happened with the market this week is that Oracle is right back up into crazy earnings. Obviously, Oracle AI, I mean, just completely, a lot of people like to say that Oracle is the father to Palantir, and Palantir is the little kid right now, and that Palantir could be on the projection to Palantir numbers here in the near future. But, with that today, talking about stocks in general, Palantir sold off to 135 today. Is that not a crazy thing to say? Palantir sold off today to 135 and some change. Is that not crazy to say? Tesla at this 318, back up at 300 range. And then Tempest is at $70 now. Oh my God. Tempest is at $70. So I think, to me, Tempest is it's one of these stocks right now, one of these companies in general that is just, people are, very at the helm of like, what is going to actually happen with this company. And it's a stock right now that's like Hims or CRISPR, another, one of those stocks that just like, it's not making really big money, big quarterlies, but it's just the expectation of what is there is, it's making the price go up dramatically. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Tempest, as long as the market can hold its ground here, which it seems to be doing, that Tempest could easily go into 80, 90, 100, within a few months here, because it's just that it's healthcare, it's AI, it's all these things. It's got all these big investors wrapped up in it. Everyone's talking about it. It's just, when we see sell-off, we see huge buyback in right now with it. So this has kind of been the story as of late with Tempest. So, what do you say right there? And then Oracle, obviously Oracle back up in a $200 range here. So, just AI stocks are just going crazy. Look at these numbers, for God's sakes. Palantir, Tesla, Tempest, Oracle. Imagine if you would have bought these stocks, 6-8 months ago. You'd be in some hefty, profit range right now. So, friends, go right into Big Bear. And obviously, I'm going to talk about more stocks, SoFi, things like that, other stocks that I like in general. But, I think right now there's obviously a lot of drama, a lot of hype, a lot of expectation, a lot of fears, doubts, positive vibes out there with Big Bear. It's just a big pool of everyone is at different mindset right now with Big Bear. And I'm still in the mindset of where I'm at right now is where last week we were having more volume, and it's funny because last week was a week of just pure drama with Big Bear. Last week we were starting to see more articles come out saying like, hey, Big Bear might actually be worth your time. Hey, Big Bear kind of is a shadow to Palantir. Hey, Big Bear is actually something that might turn out to be good here by the end of the year. And now we're seeing a lot more of that this week with Big Bear because the lawsuit deal has kind of went quiet so far. It's wrapped. The first portion of it's wrapped up, and who knows, we'll hear more about it maybe. But all in all, it came to a date here. So last week was very dramatic. This week was good. We've had new deals, partnerships with Big Bear, but the stock has just, been flat this week. We have not been able to build up a high enough volume to push it at, over a solid $4, mark for more than a few seconds here. So it's been a little bit of just a nail-biting week here with Big Bear. I still think that we are watching a bridge be built up into $5 at this point. As long as Big Bear is holding this 360, 370, 380 range, we're still in good position to easily get back up in $4, start chewing away at $4 again. So I do think, obviously, and even articles are talking about this, and God knows you shouldn't invest off articles because articles are just drama pieces most of the time, just some guy, lady just writing an article. But more than not, you are seeing right now that Big Bear is looking for more push up, and I think it's going to definitely get it. So after this three, 1, 2, 3 that I've written up here on these staircases, now we're in this third staircase, this long staircase right here, and there's obviously a wall at $4. Big Bear is struggling now at $4. Now with that, even looking from 2 and 3, that staircase right there, that was a long time. That was at the right in the middle of May to essentially right before June. That was about a 3-week period right there where you were having this, you had this big high and then big sell off and then a big push into that third staircase there into that 440 zone, last nice little high we had with Big Bear, and now we've trailed off into this 360 370 range, which honestly is higher obviously than what we were dealing with back at the beginning this time in May. This time in May, last month, we were struggling to keep 320, 330, 350, and now we're easily keeping that. So at the same argument, at the same crossroads where we're meeting right here in conversation, there is a argument to say that Big Bear is still moving in the right direction. Now, obviously, we are in two different scenarios right now where we're seeing Big Bear AFL capture more deals. Good, great. That's what we need. We need more money. Big Bear needs more money. And obviously, we're not going to know much more until we get to the next quarterly here to show some kind of, hey, we're making more money. Hey, we may actually achieve at least 190, 180, 190 million in revenue this year. Possibly 200. We're golden. We're good. So, two, the other piece of the pie of the conversation, there's many pieces right now that we could be looking at with Big Bear here, is that Big Bear is obviously being set up for a squeeze. And I don't think that it's going to be a squeeze of like, $30-$40. And I say that because chat rooms are going crazy right now with what they're putting out there. But I think a realistic squeeze with Big Bear is obviously a situation of up into a $5-$6 range here. I think that's obviously very possible. But two, one reason why Big Bear more than likely has not been aggressively moving on these deals that we have seen this week is because there's no money attached to it in the sense of putting it out there in articles. That's, and I wish there was, but these deals, these partnerships, they have not talked about revenue. They have not talked about openly about what Big Bear is getting. So it's been a lackluster situation. And obviously if Big Bear were to come out tomorrow with another deal, and they said, hey, we just got, even a measly 20 million X amount of years, 1, 2, 3 years, it would throw some gasoline on the fire that's Big Bear right now. So Big Bear needs gas. It needs gas. It needs something on the fire here to really push it up into this 420, 430 zone of what we're looking for right now. Now that's short term. That's possible squeeze that can happen. Everyone is betting on Big Bear different. You've got your puts, you got your calls. Everyone's doing what they're doing right now. I get it. You're either betting for it, against it. But either way, I think everyone is making money off of it regardless, because Big Bear is still allowing investors to have this like 10 to 15 cent zone within a day trade here. So friends, long term, I am very optimistic and positive that Big Bear is going to continue to survive the storm of what the market has right now. Because AFL, we've got a lot of defense deals that we've wrapped up here since the end of last year. We're getting more partnerships. Big Bear's getting more notoriety. And two, and I will argue this to the grave. Being a part of the stock market for as long as I have now, in having a YouTube channel as long as I have now, and just knowing investors as long as I have now, and knowing how we are and how we react to things, Big Bear has a lot of hype attached to it. Big Bear has a lot of expectation attached to it. Big Bear has a lot of FOMO attached to it. And those things are good because at the end of the day, they will still make you money. It doesn't mean the stock's bad. It doesn't mean the company is bad. But it does mean that, yeah, I mean, look at Palantir. Palantir is insanely overpriced, but it's the expectation, it's the FOMO, it's the futures, it's everything wrapped up into one. The price, the deals, the future deals, the CEO, the attachment to Trump, the attachment to the White House, these defense deals, these NATO, everything. It's just, that's why you're paying such a hefty price. I mean, it's like Tesla, you're paying such a hefty price because of everything attached to it. So, and you're going to continue to do that. So Big Bear, I do think that Big Bear, it's not showing the price yet, but I do see it in this little pool right now of where it's getting a lot of attention. People are not, they're not shying away from it. And, that's a very healthy place to be right now with Big Bear, because it will still, it's still being watched. People are still buying it. We're not having the volume we were having last week, but still we're having some pretty good volume. I mean, even today, the market there wasn't too many green stocks out there, and Big Bear was giving movement. It was giving life to a lot of, people in the market today. So if you were trading it, all in all, listen, I like the rest of us, like me, you, everyone, we are here watching and waiting, the short term, long term, obviously there's a lot of stuff coming up here with these defense deals, with what is going to happen, this Golden Dome situation, defense in general. Can Big Bear lock in more deals here? I still think that Big Bear has a juicy position here to just lock in some kind of big deal and just announce it on a whim, and that will be the gasoline on the fire here. Now, obviously, I want to say this too. This is going to be a nail-biting situation for you. It is going to be a nail-biting situation. Listen, we obviously in February had a huge push with Big Bear into that $10 position here, and a lot of people made a lot of money. But I do believe at the same time, for lightning to strike twice like that again, it is rare. We are in a situation where I do think we could be even in a small squeeze to $5, $6, maybe $7 here, but something is going to have to give here with a deal, with investors really pushing on it. And when we had that big push back in February, Big Bear, leading up to that, it was getting deals. It was getting these aggressive defense deals, and there was money attached to it for X amount of time. And then Big Bear was getting a lot of attention. Palantir was getting a lot more attention. Then Big Bear and Palantir were getting lumped together. Palantir was getting deals. The market was running high. And then obviously what happened at the end of February? Well, DeepSeek, boom, tariffs, boom, sell off. Market sells off, we rebuild, and here we are at, now we're back in 6,000 point range with S&P 500. So I'm still comfortable where Big Bear is. Listen, Big Bear could have easily sold off to $2.30-50 somewhere in that price range, but it hasn't, because there's still a lot of expectation around it. No matter which way you cut it, or investors want to argue about it, Big Bear has been getting deals. So if you just got here, I want to inform you that Big Bear has been getting a lot of deals since November of last year, in this 6-month, 7-month period where we're at right now. Big Bear has been getting a lot of deals. They're going to start compounding on quarterlies here, and this is what I think I said this last night. We watched SoundHound last year. Really, it took a long time. I mean, it took most of the year, but eventually we saw SoundHound get all these deals, and then finally they started to show up on their quarterlies, and it just. If you were in that run with SoundHound last year, and I know some of you were, you made a ton of money. SoundHound went from a $2 stock to a $25 and some change. So huge run there. Now we're back into this $9, $10 range where it's more realistic price-wise. So Big Bear's in a position where I went shy away from it. I went turn my eye on it. something could happen here. I'm obviously drinking the juice on it. I'm obviously very positive about it. But I will admit, it's until Big Bear can really lock down these quarterlies, get them up, get them over expectation. Yeah, it's a dangerous situation still, because a lot of us have a lot of money wrapped up in it. Whether you have $100, $1,000, $10,000, it's your money at the end of the day, and it's, no one wants to lose money here. So friends, I'm gonna make this a short and sweet video. Obviously tomorrow is Friday, we're gonna wrap up this market, and I think that we are gonna see a market that is continuing to push here. The market wants to run, man. It wants to run. Like, listen, if we were listening to all these analysts, it would be doom and gloom. It would be Pompeii out here, but we're just not seeing that. Now, obviously, anything could change here, but things are going good. I wouldn't walk away from this market. I just wouldn't walk away from opportunity that's, giving itself to investors here. Friends, I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.